All right, 1 2 1 2 in the place to be. What's up, y'all? How y'all feel out there? I am Frank Red, and this is the In the Dungeon show. And I want to thank every one of you for checking me out tonight. Even if I'm talking to myself, I'm gonna give myself thanks for having the courage to get online and do this show. And what will be a different type of show. Um, because most of the time when you are a host, you're always thinking about the listeners and bringing joy, entertainment, and maybe a nice diversion to the listeners out there. As a host, that's your job. This is a different show because I'm doing this show for myself. Um, I haven't done a show in over a week, which is kind of strange for me because I like doing this quite a bit. But I got a call last week, and it's never good when you get a phone call and the first thing out of somebody's mouth is, "Are you sitting down?" You know. But yeah, I got one of those phone calls, and as it turns out, a really good friend of mine passed away. Um, Guys like my brother, one of my college teammates, my roommate for 4 years. So, been walking around like a zombie for like the past week or so. Flew to the East Coast, New York specifically, and literally I was in New York for about 12 hours. Took a red eye, went to the ceremony of life, celebration of life, excuse me, and took a flight that evening back out, to where I live at, and it was beautiful to see so many people who loved my man, and I have no doubt that he's going to heaven, whatever heaven is. I think he's going to be there. A wonderful, wonderful person, husband, 30 years, son. Leave a son. His son gave an incredible speech, and still, it's a numbing feeling. I grew up, without a dad and without a whole lot of support. So, like a lot of kids, you're told to really suppress your feelings, and it helps you survive tough situations, but it stunts your growth. It stunts your overall development. I'm not really a person who expresses myself via like crying and stuff like that. I wish I was. I mean, to see people grieve about things and then just kind of not forget, but kind of move on. I wish I could do that. I don't know how to do it. I really don't. The only way that I know how to express myself is by communicating and generally by writing. So I'm sure I'll do some writing, be it an essay, be it a song, or whatever. And that helps me. That helps me get beneath that veneer that we all generally walk around with. And some people can get there really, really quickly. I'm not one of those people because I didn't have that level of protection when I was a child. I was pretty much, I had to be the man of the house as a young kid. And again, I mean, it teaches you great survival skills. You're able to deal with adversity, but the well-roundedness I think that we all need gets stunted. My man was way too young to pass away. He had some stress in his heart. A lot of times when you hear about young people passing away, it has something to do with some type of discomfort with the heart, a condition, or cancer. Cancer is another one, and unfortunately, a lot of us have to deal with that. A lot of us humans. Um, It's interesting. I was talking to his wife, and his wife said, he said, everybody who loved my husband, tell them to get themselves checked out, make sure that they are doing their heart maintenance and making sure that they're okay. And I took that to heart because having a show like this gives me the opportunity to speak to anybody who's listening. I don't care how many people it is. It doesn't matter. If it's one person, if it's two, if it's 100, if it's 1,000, whatever. Maybe it will stick in somebody's head to make sure that you are taking care of yourself. I have a irregular heartbeat. I've had one for a long time. So I take my medicine. I do. And I exercise a lot. And I do the things that I need to do to make sure that I'm giving myself the best chance at living a long and healthy life. But it has to be like a job. It's not something that you can just kind of be flippant about. There are a lot of rumors about medicines that you take that are sensitive to some folks. Whatever those side effects are, the best one is it keeps you alive. All right. So anybody listening out there, this is not a performance. I don't perform. I'm a truth teller. What you want to do is you want to be entertaining to the best of your ability, but that has to be natural. You have to be engaging to people, or you're not. But this is real life. I'm not performing, and I do this show for my own balance, to have balance to my life. I like talking about sports. I love when life intersects with sports and we can talk about some other stuff that makes sense. But this is kind of cathartic for me after losing my guy. So I just want to be honest with everybody. And every day I guess it gets a little better. And better only means that you're able to function somewhat normally, because our lives don't change. You know what I'm saying? Our lives don't stop. We still have to do whatever we do and move forward. And there's so many good things about life that I would be selfish if I didn't allow myself to balance the adversity and the strife and the tragedies that we all have to do with all of the other wonderful things that happen to us in our lives. When nobody's around, you can take great pride and great satisfaction in some of the things that are happening to us and to people that we love. All right. So thank you. I appreciate that. This is for the first time. My name is Frank Red. What's up, everybody? This is the In the Dungeon program. We're going to talk about sports. So much is happening in the world of sports that piques my interest, and I want to talk about it. Hit me up at Big Frank Red on X. If you don't follow me and you want to follow me, you know what to do. Also, if you like the show after a while, then hit the subscribe button. Help the program. We really appreciate it. I appreciate it. And one of the cool things that has happened over the past week is my new record, my new song. And I'm going to write the title in the comments section. I don't type fast, so work with me. I appreciate y'all. Where I'm supposed to be, yeah. Yeah, Where I'm Supposed to Be is a song that I have out right now. It came out a couple of weeks ago. The reception has been really good. People seem to like it. Initially, it was only on YouTube. You just go to Frank Red and listen to the song. But now it's everywhere. It's on Spotify. It's on Pandora. It's on Apple Music. It's everywhere. I'm very proud of it. Building a discography is something that I wanted to do for my legacy. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to put at least 10 songs out because I own them all. I wrote them all. I wrote all my own lyrics, and I'm on that level. I'm definitely on that level. So if you think of whatever you think is professional, I'm on that level, and I should be, as long as I've been rapping. I've been rapping for a long time, and I put a lot of time into it, and I'm honest. I'm an honest writer, and I'm a smart guy, so I have a lot to talk about. It's interesting when you get to a point in your life when you can be honest about yourself and be self-deprecating, but also be honest. It's okay to say that you feel good about something that you do. Why do you always have to be phony? I don't think we need to do that. Writing is something that I know how to do. Rapping is something I know how to do. So check it out. And give me a write-up on Twitter or comment, whatever. I appreciate it. My man Spencer says, Kings, baby. Yes, sir. That's on my topic list to talk about the Kings. Because what Domantas Sabonis did to AD last night, that was disrespectful and it was embarrassing. I haven't seen anything like that since Shaq was playing. And what it does, that beam that the Kings like the light whenever they win, shine that sucker on the team. Because from a personnel perspective, the Kings are one of the top 4 teams in the Western Conference. They got beat by the Warriors last year, and I picked the Warriors to win. A lot of people did, but it was still a disappointment for Kings fans. They were the 3rd seed. If this team can't win an opening round series this year with that personnel, changes have to be made. And I don't necessarily think it needs to be the coach. This is 2nd year. Might have to change the puzzle pieces because the Kings got a good team. And some of their inexplicable losses is unacceptable. It's terrible. Spencer says, sorry to hear that. That's tough. My grandma passed away on Friday. Oh, man. I found her dead. I found her dead with my 2-year-old son. It was tough. Wow. Spencer, my condolences out to you, brother. And I thank you for, just listening to this show, man. Hopefully, you can find some support for my prayers manifesting through the computer and everybody out there listening. I'm really sorry about your grandma. Thank you for sharing. I really appreciate that. And I know she's resting at this point. Mark Graves, what's up, brother? How are you? Mark, you don't know the connection that we got, dude. I mean, we're going to meet at some point. Maybe it's in Vegas or whatever, but your support is greatly appreciated. I thank you so much. Mark's listening to us and he said the new song is awesome. Thank you. I appreciate you. I like the song too. And people seem to like it. Spencer says, you, Larry, and the guys helped me get through it. Wow. Thank you. Thank you, Spencer, for sharing that. And I don't mess with people who are not good people, dude. I don't. Larry and I have been friends. Larry Krueger and I have been friends for decades. We root for each other. The most beautiful thing in the world is to genuinely 100% champions other people's success. It's an existential feeling, because that warm feeling that they get, when you do that, it comes back to you 100 times. So the fact that technology allows us to build communities and share the good times, and also, to the best of our ability, show gratitude and support for other folks when we're dealing with tough things that happen in life. That's incredible. It really is. So thank you, Spencer. Mark says, I'm good. Thanks for asking. Yes, sir. All right. Continue to share your thoughts. Whatever you want to talk about is fine. But I want to get into some sports. The Warriors have lost 3 or 4. The Chicago loss, I'm not surprised by that. I saw that coming based on the matchups. So I thought they could get over that. Last Friday's loss at home to San Antonio was just totally unacceptable. That was god-awful. And losing to Dallas, minus Stephen and Draymond, not surprising. Now, the Lakers, for the first time, in spite of their record, the Lakers are 36-31. They look like a team that's willing to give up, to me. That beat down against Sac last night felt like 4 losses. It only counted for 1, but it felt like 4. The Warriors got to show up on Saturday against the Lakers. I don't care if they're playing in LA, and they generally don't play all that well in LA. They got to go out there and implement the Sacramento Kings game plan, which just bully those dudes. Just inflict your physical will on them, because they don't appear to be the type of team that will give you any resistance, which is, LeBron wants to compete, but he's 39 years old. The fact that this guy's averaging 25 points a game, 7 rebounds, 8 assists, are you kidding me? His teammates are letting him down. It's the bottom line. And the Warriors can take advantage of that. I'm asking the questions. I'm starting to see over the past couple of games some signs that Jonathan Kuminga might be flatlining a little bit. And that worries me, because he was on such a meteoric rise. If you look at his stat line, I mean, the guy's averaging over 20 since January. So I'm not talking about his stats. I'm talking about how he plays and how he engages with referees. I don't like it. Good players don't have multiple games unless they're point guards of more than 5 turnovers. Jonathan Kuminga can rack up 5-6 turnovers in a game, and that's just not emblematic of his talent at this point. He should not have 5-6 turnovers in a game. Shouldn't do it. He's too good a player for that. And when I see him doing it, it causes concern to me. So I'll be watching Jonathan. I want to see this guy when a Stephen Curry goes down, a Draymond's not in the game, put 30 on the board. Go get you 30. Dominate. One guy that I think that either Kuminga's people need to contact in the offseason or the Warriors, and I don't know if it has anything to do with maybe he has a service contract, is I think Jonathan Kuminga should hire Bernard King. Yeah, I don't know if Bernard can. I don't know if he can get out there and coach kids. I assume he can. Even conversations, that mid-range post game that Bernard King used so effectively in his career, I think could really help Jonathan Kuminga, because Jonathan Kuminga appears to be a very fast learner. When he puts his mind to it to learn a particular skill, he's able to do it at an accelerated rate. And I would love to see him spend some time with Bernard King. Spencer says, what do you think of Keon Ellis? I love Keon Ellis. Followed him since he was at Alabama, I believe. I thought he should have made the team last year. A tremendous defensive player, good teammate, played his role, went down to the G, balled out, and I mean, he was getting Davion Mitchell's minutes early in the season. Now both of these guys are playing, and they're two pieces that Mike Brown can go to in the clutch to shut people down. So I'm big on Keon Ellis, man. Always been. I think he got a new contract, right? Happy for the guy. Spencer says, you can bully the Lakers. It's fun. Yo, I have never seen anything. Well, Shaq used to bully guys. Now, anybody want to talk about Chris Webber? I always tell people, yo, Chris Webber played his best basketball against the Lakers in the playoffs. Period. And when they write the book on the Kings' demise in the early 90s, it's not going to tarnish Webber's resume at all. As a matter of fact, it's going to add to it because he was a beast against the Lakers. They didn't bully him. Didn't happen. They didn't bully the Kings. But we saw Shaq bully people. I thought Domantas Sabonis last night, I thought he was bullying Anthony Davis. I was shocked by it. Absolutely shocked. That'll never happen to Draymond Green. Never. Never. Draymond's made us some different stuff. And maybe it's a wake-up call for Anthony Davis. I don't know. I mean, the Kings might not meet them again. I mean, the Kings swept the Lakers this year. So if they play again, it's going to be in the playoffs. But while the Warriors are not a good matchup for the Kings, I still don't think they are. It doesn't mean that if they played in a series, it wouldn't go 6 or 7 games and the Kings couldn't win, because they can win. But fundamentally, I don't think that the Warriors are a good matchup for the Kings, because the Warriors are a smarter team than Sacramento. Sacramento is probably more talented at this point. You could make that argument. I don't know if they are, but they're one of the more talented teams in the Western Conference. But the Warriors are so smart that's why when people talk about the Warriors, they say, well, they can get to the 6th seed if they can get to a series, they got a chance of winning at least an opening round series. And then after that, who knows? Because injuries sometimes play a role in the outcomes in the playoffs. Mark Graves says, JK needs to work on his dribbling. Stop complaining to the refs. Don't you hate that, Mark? You know what? I thank God for my high school coach every day. Well, not every day. But thank you, God, for my high school coach. My high school coach never got a tech. Never got a technical foul. And the other thing about my high school coach, he would never call timeout first. He's one of those old school, 1950s and Hoosiers type coaches. He was a living example of one of those dudes. Unbelievable coach. But none of his players talked to referees and got technical fouls. None of us. And it's funny. I'm going to say this one time because you can see it in living color. Okay. I played high school basketball with Billy Donovan, the head coach of the Chicago Bulls, right? When's the last time you've seen Billy Donovan get a tech? Maybe once a year, twice a year, maybe never. Why? Because it goes back to high school. We were taught not to argue with referees. Don't do it. Even Steve, let the outcome be decided on the court. Even Steve Kerr, you see Lute Olson's impact on Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr is pretty fiery, but Steve Kerr does not badger referees that much. Only if you touch Stephen Curry, and I understand that. But, you know, Steve Kerr, you see the Luke Olson influence on Steve Kerr's coaching. Webber and Shaq even said the game was rigged. No one rigged. Well, Robert Horry's shot wasn't rigged. I mean, you know, can't get that one out of my mind. Hopefully the Kings can move up to the 5th spot. Yeah, yes. I think they might be able to get higher than that. The Kings are talented. But they're puzzling also. Some of the inexplicable losses by the Kings this year, you just shake your head. You go, really? As good as those guys are? Let's hope. Yeah. Kings were impressive last night. And, I mean, literally, Keegan Murray looked really good. Harrison Barnes looked like the #1 player in the country that he was coming out of high school. You know, Harrison Barnes, in his own way, has put together a solid NBA career. You know, very solid. Harrison Barnes is probably going to score, I don't know, anywhere from 14 to 16,000 points in his career. He's already an NBA champion. Maybe he'll latch on to another championship caliber team at the tail end of his career. But I think most people believe that Harrison Barnes' greatest contributions to our society will not be as a basketball player. You know, I think he's going to do great things once he is no longer playing basketball. Good for him. He was on one last night, no doubt about that. But yeah, what do you think about the Warriors? What do you think about the Kings? Both teams are going to be in postseason. It's just a matter of the jockeying position. Hopefully Stephen Curry can play on Saturday. I think the networks obviously want him to play. And he tends to lean into the corporate community when he can. I don't think he's going to do anything that endangers his health. And I don't think the Warriors would allow him to. But Saturday's going to be a big game. It's obviously a national game against the Lakers. And the Warriors need the game. The Warriors look so much. I mean, the Warriors look a lot different when he's not on the court. I mean, they really do. And particularly if Draymond's not there. Now, here's one of the things I wanted to say about Klay Thompson. Steve Kerr made a decision not to start Klay Thompson and bring him off the bench. And it's been okay. But I never bought into Klay was going to the bench because he was no longer one of the 5 best players on the team. I don't believe it. Klay Thompson doesn't believe it. And I challenge anybody else to build an argument to tell me that that's the case. I do not believe it. It's not true. Klay's mindset needed to change, where he took better shots. You know, maybe he needs more rest. Maybe his overall minutes need to be spread out in a way that's more conducive to him coming off the bench. I'm okay with that. But his mentality of looking at somebody starting in his position saying that guy's better than me, nah, it's not going to happen. You know that? Nah, I know that. Senior Softball says the Kings actually have played the Nuggets very tough for the last 2 years. Yeah, I know. They won the series. I think they beat them head-to-head in the series. Yeah, and this year too. Spencer says Jokic doesn't like playing the speed teams, especially not Sabonis speed. Big Frank, you can educate these folks about Sabonis, please. Yo, man. Hey. Sabonis is playing out of his mind. And I think the real difference has been, remember that mid-range shot that he was reluctant to take when Draymond was guarding him last year in the playoffs? He's been eating very well on that mid-range jumper in the regular season. And maybe that's kind of put him in a different category because you can't really lag off him anymore. He can even shoot the three. But from 17, 18, 19 feet, he's making that shot consistently. And when he goes to his left hand in the post, most guys just can't stop him. They can't. He's strong in his upper body. And beyond being strong, he's aggressive. He gets his body into guys' chests. And a lot of big guys, here's a statement that doesn't seem like it should make any sense. A lot of big, strong guys do not like contact. Imagine that. They don't like contact. I don't get it. But a lot of guys don't like. I love contact. Love it. Spence, how many triple doubles for Sabonis this year? I don't know. He got, 30 plus double doubles. See, I just want them to finish strong and push into the playoffs. Here's a stat line. He's also shooting 42% when he shoots threes, maybe 1 or 2 a game. Yeah, man. I mean, listen. Sabonis is going to be he's going to be on one of the top 3 All-NBA squads this year. He's already been paid. Give the Kings credit. Give Monty McNair credit. And the owner, I can't think of his name right now, for paying this guy. You know, the Kings players are locked up. Sabonis is locked up. Barnes is locked up. De'Aaron Fox is locked up. Keegan Murray's going to get paid. They got it going on right now. Now, we can still talk NBA, but I want to transition a little bit, and I wrote some things down. I am happy that Arik Armstead decided to leave the 49ers. Why? Because they tried to sun him. And a lot of you guys might not know what that means, but you know, when you try to sun somebody, you treat them like they're less than what they are. That's what they tried to do to him. Now, I'm going to say this about Arik Armstead. He's bigger. He's more than a football player. This dude is man of the year every year. A candidate in the NFL. The stuff that he does in the community, you're going to let that guy go over money? Come on, man. And the salary cap is going up $30 million. I give him credit for saying, you know what? I can go and see my folks. I can jump in my car and drive to see my folks in Sac in 90 minutes. I'm not taking this. I'm out of here. I love it. I love it because they did not have to lose him. They decided to do it, the 49ers. I think it's a bad look. I'm also happy for Javon Kinlaw. Javon Kinlaw was much maligned in the Bay Area since being drafted by the 49ers in the first round out of University of South Carolina. There was talk last year about Javon Kinlaw not even making the team. He gets a 1-year deal for at least $6 million from the New York Jets. I'm happy for this brother. Couldn't be happier for him. And I think he's going to ball out. I mean, clearly Robert Saleh knows him very well and thinks that he can produce. And he played good football this year for the 49ers. So a lot of the 49ers replacement players, I don't know a lot about. I do know Collins, the guy they got from the Texans, who has a high motor. But, I don't watch it as closely as maybe some other folks do. But losing Armstead to me was a big deal. Arik Armstead getting paid this year, but they were trying to get him to 17 a year, which he got in Jacksonville. Yeah, but we don't know the guaranteed money though, Spencer. At least even before I came on air tonight and over the past couple of days, I've been looking for the guaranteed amount. I mean, maybe you know what that is. I don't know what it is. I think that's the real key because those numbers are gaudy. You know? Let's go, Mook Dog. Ball out. It's a salary cap league, and Armstead's been hurt the last 2 years, missed half the season. Jimmy, sounds like you listen to a lot of football shows on television and YouTube. Let me ask you a question. What is the net positive or net loss based on the statement that you made? How does that have any connection to the 49ers not winning the Super Bowl? I don't get it. With Armstead not being in the lineup, did the 49ers lose any more games? Did they make any less money? Did they make any less profits? No, they didn't. That's all. You know what that is? That's content speak. Why did he miss games? Because he was hurt. This idea that, well, yeah, you miss games. You know what? What about the kid, Roster? I might be pronouncing his name wrong. The former Iowa track star who's now on Miami. He was hurt like 2 or 3 consecutive years with the 49ers. And they signed him every year. Why? Because he wasn't trying to get hurt. And going back to Armstead, I got to have that guy in my organization. I'm sorry. When you got new people coming into your organization, he's the type of personality, he's the type of leader that you want in front of people, or your locker room can change. You got to pay for that. He's going to go to Jacksonville and galvanize that group. The 49ers got the money anyway. What are they paying their quarterback? 50 cents a year? Give me a break. Oh, Mook Dog is Kinlaw. Okay, yeah, man. I remember last year when, an upstart YouTube guy who actually does a really good job was kind of critical of Kinlaw online. And Kinlaw was, that dude let everybody know that he ain't someone you want to play with. Floyd was a great pickup. Okay. There you go. Yeah. Mozart, right? Mozart. I'm just happy he's healthy. Because talk about hard times. Give the 49ers credit. They stuck with him. And he played good football for the 49ers when he was healthy. And he's gone to Miami, led the league in touchdowns last year. GC is a piece. Who is GC? Help me out. Now, I'm talking about the 49ers. The biggest debacle in the NFL, and this hits home, was the New York Giants thinking that they could punk Saquon Barkley. How are you going to let your best player on your team walk out the door because of money and go down the street to a rival? Are you kidding me? This bothers me for a lot of reasons. First of all, Wellington Mara, the original owner of the Giants, RIP, went to Fordham. I used to come to some of my basketball games. I've always been a Giant fan. Bill Parcells is my favorite coach. You're gonna let, and now you want to complain that Philly might have talked to Saquon before. They might have tampered with him. Go prove it then. They let Roseman eat their food. Howie Roseman just punked the Giants. Saquon Barkley is the best player on the Giants, and you don't want to pay this guy $12 million a year when your quarterback will be lucky not to get murdered on a football field next year? That was god-awful. I mean, the Giants, one of the wealthiest organizations in all of the NFL, and you're going to nibble around the edges with Saquon Barkley, $26 million guaranteed? Are you kidding me? Please make that make sense. And then you want to complain when he goes and gets his money. That YouTuber you were saying. Yeah, well, basically, oh, yeah. Yeah, I got you. Yeah. GC, yeah, I got you. Yeah, I don't want to mention his name. But here's what's funny about him. GC works his ass off, and he's good at his job. He's really good at his job, and he works really hard. But he ain't played no damn football. Not at that level. You know, you gotta be careful. When you start talking to these professional athletes, particularly football players, you gotta be careful. You really do. And that whole thing could have gotten real ugly. I'm glad that it didn't. Because both of those guys actually do really, really well at what they do. Kinlaw proved that when he's healthy, he can play football and play it pretty darn well. And GC works hard. And he's funny too. I think he's kind of funny. Spencer says, New York Giants, bad decision making. Those are my Giants. I grew up in New York. Saquon Barkley is he's like Michael Strahan, man. This is a guy who you want to be a part of your legacy forever. Forever. And they're going to lose him over what? $500,000? $1 million or $2 guaranteed? It's absolutely dumb. And they don't have anybody better. I don't get it, man. Mark Griggs says some of these football owners treat their players just as numbers. Yeah, they do. And I don't like the fact that some people cover football through that lens without telling the entire story. If you want to talk about a salary cap, talk about profits. Tell a complete story. Because guess what? This salary cap is created by real people. This salary cap didn't fall from the sky. Why do they have a salary cap? Because they want to ensure profits. That's why. Who's losing it? Who's losing money in the NFL? Nobody. As garbage as some of these teams are, they're all making money. The salary cap ensures that owners continue to make money. That's what it is. Spencer says, Shannon Sharp on his podcast said that the Lakers were lucky the Warriors knocked out the Kings because the Kings are a bad matchup for the Lakers. Yeah. Give him credit. He knows a little bit about basketball. Because if you watch basketball and you know the game, you see it. The Lakers have nobody can stop De'Aaron Fox. Nobody. And the Kings got some capable defenders on the outside. They got Mitchell. They've developed Keon Ellis. As much as people, kind of dump on Harrison Barnes, Harrison Barnes every now and then can jump in the Wayback Machine and get on one. Remember that game early this year against the Warriors? Oh my goodness. When he couldn't miss. For the Kings not to win an opening round series this year is inexcusable. And anything can happen. The coach could be fired, which would be horrible. And I don't think it should go to that extreme. But you know how fidgety some of these owners are. I don't think they can bring the team back intact. Maybe they can. Maybe they view it like the OKC Thunder when they had Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden. They just keep knocking on the door because the personnel's there. Jimmy says, think about the Chiefs. Though they let Tyreek Hill go and I won 2 Super Bowls. Yeah, a little different in the quarterback, right? The Giants quarterback versus Pat Mahomes, a little different, right? Not exactly the same. Name one all-star on the Giants offense. I'll wait. The Chiefs had Kelsey, and they had Pat Mahomes. Did a great job drafting Pacheco. So maybe you're telling me that the Giants have locked in on a running back in the 4th round who's going to set the world on fire this coming season. And then, then I'll eat my words. And I'll still say that you don't get rid of a Saquon Barkley for strictly football reasons. Just like you don't get rid of an Arik Armstead strictly for football reasons. These are organizational lifers. These are leaders. These are pillars of your organization. If you got to bite the bullet and give them a little bit more money, I think you do it. Even like with the 49ers now, I've read some things that says that they might, let their fullback go. The Harvard cat. I think that'd be a big time mistake. He has a very complicated name, so I'm not even going to try. Excellent player. He should not take less money. Why? What the hell did he do wrong to be paid less money next year? It's a joke. Spencer says, I think they need Keon Ellis in the starting lineup instead of Herder. And they'll do fine in the playoffs. I disagree with you. You put too much pressure on Keon to do more than one thing. When an NBA player does something well, give him time to focus on that. Just let Keon go out there and just ball out on defense. Herder's not great, but I also watched the game the other night. Diarte played a real good game. And, people have left Chris Diarte for dead. He played a damn good game last night, making shots that he was not making earlier this year. And he's a two-way player. He's a two-way guy. So I would bring Ellis off the bench. Hold on. Mark says, do you think the Giants owners held the grudge for Barkley holding out? I hope not, Mark. If they did, it's petty because he didn't really hold out. What did he miss, a day or two? The guy showed up in camp. I think it's a power structure. I think some of these organizations' egos are so big that they want to control players. I think you look at the Dallas Cowboys right now. Okay, Mike Williams got cut by San Diego, essentially. He's out there. The Cowboys could use a guy like Mike Williams, somebody who goes and gets the ball, catches the ball with his hands. It's a mystery whether or not Dallas is going to sign this guy. They've done nothing in free agency. Why? Because they want Dak to take less money than he wants to make. I don't think he should. They might even be looking at the reset button and just say, you know what, it ain't gonna happen for us. Philly's gonna win the division next year. Power, man. Power struggle. Kyle Juice restructured and is staying. Okay, good. Good for him. He restructured his deal to a point that he feels comfortable. I have no problem with that. I don't think that you just be so narrow-minded to the point where you don't do something that works for you and your family. Certainly his wife has benefited being associated to a player who's on the 49ers. So maybe it works. Good for him. And I'm equally happy that Arik said, no, I'm not taking less money. So what would you do then? The Niners are currently over the salary cap. Can't pay everyone. Are you suggesting there shouldn't be a salary cap? No. Who would you have cut then? All right. So, in all honesty, Jimmy, I don't follow the salary cap. That's not my job. That's the 49ers' job. Make it work. Make it work. They pick and choose who they want to take less money. You can line all the players up and say, you know what? Each player is going to have to give up X amount of percent. When they go to certain guys, it's arbitrary. You can make an argument that they should not be over the salary cap when you're paying your starting all NFL quarterback, what, $2 million a year? Are you kidding me? What do you think about that, Jimmy? How great would it be if the Commanders flipped it around with Bob helping out and taking the division? You know what? That's going to be interesting because they're going to get a quarterback in there. Also, I wanted to say this. Unofficially, the fact that Seattle traded for Sam Howell is a tip of the hat unofficially to Eric Bieniemy because they don't want to give him any credit. Eric Bieniemy is disrespected in the NFL for some reason, and I don't know why it is. The minute that Washington said that they didn't want to keep him as an offensive coordinator, he should have been hired the next day. This dude is a damn good offensive coordinator. And yet he's disrespected every year. I don't understand it. I don't. I mean, Kellen Moore went to the bathroom, and when he finished going to the bathroom, he had a job. And I think Eric Bieniemy is in a good place at UCLA, but he's not making the money that he would make as an NFL offensive coordinator. I don't think. I'm not in his bag, but I don't know that. But Sam Howell was slinging that thing around last year. And who was the offensive coordinator? Eric Bieniemy. Washington's offense was really not a problem last year. In spite of what the numbers might have said. They were not a joke. They were not a joke on offense. Not at all. I also want to comment on Ryan Pace. That's his name, right? The general manager of Chicago Bulls. Bears, excuse me. I don't think homeboy has any friends in the NFL. Or he's the most arrogant executive in the NFL. He either has no friends or he's extremely arrogant. Because if I was a hired analyst to talk football, there's no way that I could come out and with a straight face and say that Justin Fields is only worth a 6th or 7th round draft pick? Come on, man. Come on, man. That is bananas. It's almost, it feels like collusion among the owners against Ryan Pace. If I'm Ryan, you know what I do? I keep him. And I draft the quarterback. If I want to draft Caleb Williams, I draft him too. Because at some point, I think you can get value for the guy. I would not trade him for a 6th or 7th round draft pick. No way in hell would I do that. They wouldn't punk me like that. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to embarrass this guy. Say what you want to say about Justin Fields not totally getting there as a pocket passer. The guy's a dynamic football player. And he did more than a good few, he did more than a couple of positive things in Chicago last year. If I'm Chicago and I really want Caleb Williams, I draft him. I draft him. And I'm gonna tell you why I say this. Because I go back to the Dallas Cowboys about 25 years ago. The Cowboys drafted Aikman 30 years ago, and they drafted the quarterback out of Miami. Can't think of his name right now. Good quarterback out of University of Miami. And they were both on the team for 1 year. And then ultimately, the second quarterback that they drafted was traded to New Orleans, I believe, for a 1st round pick. But they had 2 young star quarterbacks on their team. It's not the worst thing in the world. If I'm Ryan Pace, I'm not letting go of Justin Fields for a bag of donuts. I'm just not going to do it. Quarterbacks are going to get hurt. There'll be opportunities. I actually believe that Pittsburgh was really interested in Justin Fields. The problem is, and this might be, the biggest hurdle, is there's an expectation that if you get Justin Fields, number one, you're paying him a 5th-year salary, which is quite a bit of money, and there's a thought that you got to extend the guy without really having proven himself. I get all of that. But there's some teams out there that you might say, you know what, it's worth the risk. I don't want to see him in New England, but tell me that New England's quarterback situation is good. Don't believe it. The Eagles also signed Devin White to a 1-year deal. I think that's fantastic. The NC2A championship is about to start. A lot of coaches getting fired. Some good jobs out there. Jerry Stackhouse is out. The coach at Oklahoma State, Michael Thornton, is out. Jared Haas at Stanford is out. What do you think about Stanford going after Randy Bennett? I think it's now or never. Randy Bennett might be so comfortable at St. Mary's that he's going to retire there. Maybe he has an annuity and it's all good. I have no problem with that. But, I mean, if I'm Stanford and I really want to hit a home run, I would look at a Randy Bennett. I question whether or not the ink is dry on Mark Maxon's extension. They just signed a Cal. You know he wants to be at Stanford. It's alma mater. He's proven that he can coach already. A really competitive, smart guy. He has a master's degree or a law degree from Stanford. So that should be an interesting story to keep your eye on. They need a good coach. Going into the ACC, the travel is going to be bananas. They can't afford to be terrible. They just can't. To be terrible in basketball and football, you can't do that. Last thing I wanted to say is about 2 or 3 months ago, I talked to you all about getting back into coaching. I've done a lot of coaching, haven't coached in about 5 years. And I got back into it coaching 12-year-old girls this year. And I basically have one player who has some experience. Everybody else is a first-year player. Well, the one player that I have, the point guard, would help me out a lot. She has a friend who is essentially a volleyball player. Not very tall, but she plays volleyball and basketball. Everybody else is a first-year player. I'm happy to say that we made the playoffs this year. Now, we're going to get creamed in the playoffs on Saturday. I'm not going to tell my girls that. But I know the team that we're playing, they're undefeated. They're 9-0. And it's going to be tough. But to think that you could take a group of young ladies in their first year and make the playoffs. And I'm gonna tell you how we did it. I've never coached a team that ultimately was not good at defense. I'm a good defensive coach. Because defense is really about organization. It's about maintaining your responsibility. At that level, no one really has a great skill set. So they score off of mistakes. If you don't make a lot of mistakes, then you're going to be there. So last Saturday, it was a bloodbath. My point guard got a tech, and another young lady got a tech on the other team. She pulls my point guard's ponytail going for a layup. And my point guard went ballistic, as she should. And another young lady drove to the basket and bloodied this other young lady's lip. I felt on the other team, I felt so horrible. I felt bad for her. Totally innocent play. It was a physical game. And we won the game. We were down 4-11 at halftime. And I told the I said, ladies, listen. I said, we're going to win this game. Know why? Because we're getting every shot that we want, and we're playing good defense. We're just not making any shots. Just relax. We won the game 15-14. In the second half, we held them to 3 points, and we scored 11. I couldn't be more proud of my young ladies. We're actually going to have a nice kind of sports dinner tomorrow and then play a playoff game on Saturday. So, and everything that I've had to deal with this week, being the coach of this team has brought me great joy because these young ladies have totally bought in, and so happy. All right. I want to clean this up, and then I'm going to get out of here. Who are your sleeper teams in the NCAA tournament? I like Kentucky. I like Kentucky. Kentucky's personnel, when you look at the NBA draft picks 3, 4, 5 years from now, I think Kentucky is going to be looking like a rose. My favorite player to watch in college basketball is Reed Sheppard. Love that kid. Point guard for Kentucky. His dad was a really good player. Played for Rick Pitino at Kentucky. And I think the Spurs are going to draft Reed Sheppard. Super smart got a nice mid-range, can shoot the three ball, not intimidated, understands the game on a high level. If you don't know Reed Sheppard, watch him. That guy's a straight-up baller. Mark Graves says, way to go, coach. And Jimmy says, congrats. All right. I want to thank everybody for listening to the program and helping me get through a tough time. That's what the show is for. Building community. That's really what it's about. And when you think that you don't have connections, you think that you're all alone, you realize that you're not, just based off the response that you get from the community. And that's what we have here. So thank you. I'm going to do my thing and get out of here. Success and getting paid is a manifestation of the whole process. If you as an individual don't do things to help other people make their lives better, as far as I'm concerned, you haven't done nothing. All right. My name is Frank Red. Hit me up on X at Big Frank Red and subscribe to the show if you like it. All right. I'm going to do another show on Saturday night after the Golden State Warriors take on the LA Lakers. Between now and then, everybody out there be safe, and I'll talk to you then. All right. Peace out.